In this video, we're gonna go through my July analytics for my Etsy and print on demand business. But before we do so, I just want to say thank you for keeping me so busy. That is why this video is coming out a little bit later than intended. I have been spending so much time working with you all and coaching you and your Etsy and print on demand businesses, which has been so incredible. And I am so appreciative of all of you who I have coached, as well as all of you here that are watching this video and have subscribed to my channel. I have been receiving such kind and just really inspiring feedback from my coaching students and in my comments. And so as a thank you, I just wanted to throw a discount code in the description that will work for the remainder of the month of August for anyone who's interested in working together. So be sure to check that out. And if you're watching this video and that code has already expired, I'm sure I'll be offering codes again in the future. So just be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next one. Now, getting into the video, if you're new here, hi, my name is Taylor and I have an Etsy and print on demand business. Part of my channel here, I like to share the progress that I am making within my Etsy and print on demand business. I started my Etsy shop in late 2022, and to date I have sold a little over $65,000 in revenue, and majority of that has been in the last 3 months. It's been a climb, but I have been finding recently that the work that I've been doing, or I did in the beginning, has really begun to compound, and I feel that the strategies that I've learned along the way here have really helped streamline my processes in my research, my designing, and creating new listings. As a result of that, I have been able to see more exponential growth as I've been doing a little fine tuning. These monthly analytic videos, I really want to keep incredibly casual and just talk with you about what I did each month, share the numbers with you, and yes, I share my profit. I get comments all the time asking for my profit numbers, which, fun fact, I always share my profit when I'm discussing my revenue. So if you comment asking for my profit, I secretly know that you didn't watch the whole video. In these videos, my goal is also to just discuss any strategies I've been implementing, talk about successes I've had, as well as any opportunities that I feel I have as well. And really my goal in sharing these monthly analytic videos with you is just to share my thought process, share any new tips, tricks that I'm learning, share strategies that I'm utilizing that are working, as well as strategies that aren't working for me. This is just intended to be helpful and give you more of a behind the scenes of growing an Etsy and print on demand business. So here is just a broad overview on my Etsy dashboard. And here it's just clicked on visits right now. So you can see how my visits have grown over time. Of course, I'm filming this in August, so it's only August 10th. So I anticipate this is gonna climb up as well. And we can just see the trajectory of my orders, my conversion rate. It's been honestly pretty consistent, as you can see if I just go through these numbers here. It has been a little bit higher in these last few months, and I would just attribute that to my listings being a bit better quality. But overall, I haven't had that much fluctuation in my conversion rate. And then, of course, the revenue number. So just looking at the overview, I know a lot of people have been curious just to see the revenue month by month. So I'll just skim through here. You can see I was relatively slow growing throughout the beginning. And then once May hit, April to May, I nearly doubled my revenue. Again, in June, I had a really great month. And July, which we're going to be taking a look at today specifically, I had a total revenue number of $12,655.30. And just a little sneak peek, August, we're doing good. We're doing really good. So I'm going to go ahead and just sort this to July. Boom. Okay, so July, here is what we are looking at. This is just the overview. I had nearly 10,000 visits. We had 311 orders. Conversion rate looked pretty good. And there's the revenue. We can see I had a spike on July 18th. That was my highest order revenue volume day. As far as orders, my actual highest amount of orders was actually on July 24th. I do sell a good bit of products that can be purchased in bulk. So my number of orders doesn't always necessarily reflect the revenue number. For example, with July 18th, I had 22 orders, but I had over $1,000 in revenue, where on the 24th, that was my highest order volume day, and I only had $803. I say only, like that's not a lot. That's absolutely significant. And I want to talk about what I did to really prepare and have the success that I did in the month of July. But first, let's take a look at my monthly statement so that I can break down my costs and share my profit with you guys, as I mentioned I would, and I always do. So with that being said, here is just a snippet of my monthly statement directly on Etsy for July of 2023. And what we can see here, Etsy will say, oh, I have a net profit of $11,633.15. However, that's not accurate because that doesn't include my cost for my print providers. So with that being said, I have to subtract out what I paid to Printify as well as Printful, as I do use both of those for different product types. So my overall cost to both of my print providers was $8,209.77, which leaves me a difference of $3,423.38 for profit. That is what I get to keep. I still have to pay taxes, but that leaves me with a 27% profit margin, which I am happy with. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is how shoppers found me. So this is just the breakdown of where I received visits to my store. As you can see, a majority of that is through just organic traffic on Etsy, utilizing my SEO that I have on each of my listings. That's really begun to rank and start to really perform for me. And then on the other side of this, we can see direct and other traffic, social media. I shared in my last analytics video that really the only social media that I do is Pinterest, and I'm not super active on Pinterest. I've just pinned a couple of my high performing listings onto Pinterest, and so that does generate some traffic. However, I don't think that that's really a strong traffic source for me. As you can see, I don't have a ton of views from social media compared to the views that I'm getting from Etsy search and from the Etsy app and other Etsy pages. That is where most of my traffic is coming from, and that's where I am getting most of my sales from as well. Of course, I do run Etsy ads. I love Etsy ads. If you haven't watched my Etsy ad video, I will link it in the description box down below. But just to kind of summarize it, I use Etsy ads not with the purpose that I think that they're going to necessarily be profitable. I run Etsy ads with the intent of giving me data, and I want as much data as I can to figure out what I'm doing that's working as well as what I'm doing that's not working. So I advertise all of my listings, and I actually raised my Etsy ad budget this month. So in my video for Etsy ads, I kind of give a equation for how I generally calculate my Etsy ads. However, a strategy that I am implementing has been raising my Etsy ad budget. It seems to have paid off this month. All right, so here's my Etsy ads performance for the month of July. And like I mentioned, I raised my budget. So if we just look at my spend, you can see I was at $10 a day, which is what I explained in my Etsy ad video. However, this Q4 season is approaching, and I started my Etsy shop kind of like in the thick of Q4 last year. And so I don't feel I had like a true Q4 season. So I'm feeling a little crazy. I don't know. And I decided to up my budget to $20. It's something that I feel comfortable with spending. It's nothing crazy. I'm bringing in still profit. I'm not losing money overall. And I feel like it has been valuable to me. I've been able to A/B test different listings, see which thumbnails are working better. If you're not familiar with what A/B testing is, it's basically having two of the same listings and you're changing one variable in one versus the other. So a common thing to test, or that I test, is thumbnails. So I might test a lifestyle type mock-up on one thumbnail and test a flat lay or just like product image with one thumbnail. And so that has been helpful to figure out what thumbnails are performing best. I like to be able to then use that information and reuse that thumbnail if it's working. Sometimes I've found that certain niches have certain thumbnails that perform better in those niches versus other niches. So I really just use this to try to understand the mind of a customer on Etsy. And I highly recommend you do the same. I'm not saying that you have to spend $20 a day, but spend something that's comfortable. Again, watch that Etsy ads video because I give an equation on how you can determine your budget based off of your revenue, or if you're not making any revenue and not bringing in any sales, I talk about just starting at a very small amount, $1 to $3, depending on what you're able to do. I think it's an investment in your business. I think most of us every day are, maybe buying a coffee or something small at a convenience store. And so I think it's comparable to those little purchases that we might make. So maybe I sacrifice my Starbucks to repurpose that money towards my ad budget, right? And it's an investment that I know will pay off for me with time. So that's my Etsy ads stance, and I'm sticking to it. So as you can see, looking at just the numbers, I spent $439.93 on Etsy ads. Now, if we reflect back to when I was sharing my profit numbers, I share in the marketing section, my marketing price was actually $444.58. Another $5 of this was towards offsite ads. I don't spend a ton of money on offsite ads. I am automatically opted into them. However, I don't get a lot of sales from offsite ads. It's not even something that I ever turned off when I didn't have to be using offsite ads. If you didn't know, if you have sold over $10,000 in revenue in a year's time frame, you're automatically opted in for Etsy ads. But if you don't want to be, you can turn them off if you've sold less than $10,000. So some people opt to remove them. However, again, I think that getting your listings, getting your product in front of more potential people, why not, right? Like, even if it doesn't necessarily make you profit, that sale will trigger the algorithm to understand that, wow, okay, somebody likes this product enough to spend their dollars on it, and it's going to then push your product to more people. So I believe in it. But this is where you can see that spend. And then as a result of that spend, this is the revenue that I brought in. If we were to just compare that to my profit margin, right? So I take $1,563.04, multiply by that 0.27 for the 27% profit margin that I had. That means that I would have profited off of that revenue around $422, and I spent $439. I'm not really doing anything crazy with the Etsy ads, as far as profit or loss. However, these sales, they're triggering the algorithm that somebody likes those products. And so there's no truly real, I don't even know if that makes sense. Truly real, what am I saying? I don't know if there's really the most accurate way to measure the true reward of this ad spend and what it did to potentially boost the other sales that I received. Because Etsy is like this huge domino effect. When you're getting sales, you're getting favorites, reviews on your listings, all of that is just creating this domino to continue to rank and boost your listings in search. So that's, again, just my Etsy ads performance overview. As you can see, I can talk about Etsy ads for a long time. I think it's such a valuable resource, but definitely comment down below any questions that you have about Etsy ads, my strategy, or just any questions in general, of course. So what went well this month? What I feel led to the numbers that I saw this month? I really prepared for niches that I knew were going to begin to see traction come this time frame. I am very into doing my research, utilizing eRank, utilizing Everbee to determine what trends are going to be coming, as well as I like to pay attention to what retailers are doing. So, places like Target, Walmart, anywhere that sells products that are similar to the types of products that you can sell with print on demand, those different brands, they have huge budgets to conduct research to figure out what is going to be popular and trendy and sell. And so what they're putting out and what their trajectory, I can't talk. What they are anticipating, that's a good word, Taylor. Thank you. What they're anticipating is going to do well and sell. They've paid thousands upon thousands of dollars on that research, and it's pretty well vetted, and so that helps with inspiration for me as well. What are my goals going forward? I'm continuing to prep. I am thinking about what is going to be selling in October, November, December, and even January, because I don't want to just have this crash come January. So I'm thinking well in advance. I'm trying to be very thought out in my planning so that I'm creating consistency. Obviously, there's going to be waves, and I do anticipate that I will see a spike come, October through December from the prep that I'm doing, but I don't want it to go from, this high to drop down low. I felt really good about how I performed this last January, considering it was my best month yet compared to when I had started, and I was kind of anticipating a drop off. And so I don't think that this January is going to be better than my October through December by any means, but I do anticipate it still seeing growth and being more than what I did this past January, if that makes sense. So those are my goals going forward. I really just want to focus on prep. As far as my Etsy ad budget, I am going to continue to increase it. I don't like to do drastic increases like day after day. I like to increase, let it sit. I think that sometimes Etsy just needs a little bit of time to figure out where it wants to, really push those listings, push those dollars. And yeah, so I think at some point this month, I'm now in August, I think probably towards the later half of August, since I just raised my budget, more so in like the mid to later part of July, I want to do the same thing later in August. And I think I'm going to just follow that cycle through to December. So definitely be on the lookout for August's analytic video, and hopefully I can share some more updated progress on how that is doing by raising my Etsy ad budget and really just my overall performance. As far as my goals for August, I am somebody who sets pretty big goals. I would love to hit $20,000 in revenue, and I showed you guys a little bit of a glimpse earlier on how August is going, and it's going pretty well. I think that it's going to be close. I think that I might just skirt it a little bit. We'll see. Who knows? Anything can happen, but that's my goal. I'm putting it out into the universe and we'll see what happens. But that is it for this month's analytic video. I am very active in my comments as my channel is still small and growing. I respond to as many as I can. So let's continue this chat in the comments about any and all questions, topics you want to discuss. I hope that we can create a little community in the comments of these videos. videos, all my videos, but these videos especially, as I hope to keep them a bit more casual and just, like I'm talking with my friends and making it hopefully helpful to you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.